record high temperatures will continue to build across the western United States, as well as the critical fire weather concerns as well. And the I-95 corridor from Boston to New York City will be inundated with more flash flooding potential this afternoon into tomorrow. And also the tropics remain very active with hurricanes in both the eastern Pacific Ocean and the Atlantic Ocean as we head through the next few days. Good Tuesday morning, everybody. Hope everybody's having a great early week out there, a great Tuesday morning. We got lots to talk about in this video, so if you guys want to subscribe down below and like this video down below, definitely much appreciated. Definitely much appreciated for all the new viewers out there viewing this, as well as all the returning viewers. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel, and I definitely appreciate all of the support out there. You guys are awesome. So thank you guys here for joining me this morning. We got a lot of alerts across the western United States here in the pink shaded colors across southern and southeastern Montana, northern Wyoming into western Dakotas. That is actually a red flag warning for some critical fire weather concerns. In the oranges, that is actually heat advisory in much of the state of California, southern Nevada, and western Arizona. In the purple shaded colors, that is actually an excessive heat warning that continues through the next couple of days with record high temperatures expected across much of California, southern Nevada, and western Arizona. So looking here at the upper level heights here, you got that ridge, very strong ridge at that, continuing across the Rockies and the western United States as a whole this afternoon. That will continue to remain intact across this area as we get towards midweek on your Wednesday, and it'll start to break down ever so slightly as we head toward late week into your Thursday, September 8th timeframe. But again, that ridge will remain a control factor across portions of the western United States as we move towards the late week portion. So looking here at the temperatures locally across this area, across California, Nevada, Utah, and down into Arizona, widespread heat across California, especially central and southern California, southern Nevada, and western portions of Arizona, reaching that 110 to even locally 120 degrees as we head towards peak daytime heating this afternoon. That will continue as we head towards Wednesday, although I do think we see more of 105s to 115s and less of the 120 heat. But again, still very hot out there on your Wednesday, and then we'll start to kind of slowly cool off ever so slightly on your Thursday, but still lots of heat across California, much of Nevada there, western Arizona, and Utah, with widespread 90s, if not 100s, continuing into your Thursday, September 8th timeframe. We also do have to worry about, with the heat and the bone dry conditions out west here, we do have to worry about an elevated fire weather risk here as we head towards this afternoon and evening, towards peak daytime heating across southeastern Oregon, northwestern Nevada, as well as northeastern California. We got that elevated fire weather risk. I do recommend to not burn today. Do not burn in these areas. Definitely could have some wildfires spreading rapidly across these areas with the bone dry soil moisture, and also here the windier conditions with all that heat out there. Again, this could remain pretty elevated later on today. But looking as we head into the day tomorrow for your Wednesday, it looks to actually get to critical fire weather danger there into north central Montana, and then even elevated fire weather concerns for much of the Pacific Northwest and the northern Rockies. So again, do not burn across these areas, and wildfires can spread very rapidly in this type of environment with all the heat out there, the bone dry moisture levels, and also here just all of that, all of that windy conditions out there, breezy conditions blowing some of this around. You do not want to have a fire in any circumstances outside these next couple of days. But looking here across the Northeast, a whole different story where we have lots of rainfall here the last 24 hours, picking up over 7 inches of rain across central Rhode Island, getting into eastern portions there at Connecticut. Much of this rainfall is actually falling at heavy levels across portions there of northern Pennsylvania, southern New York State, getting all the way up into southern Maine as we head through the last 24 hours. So some beneficial rains across much of this area, including the Boston area, kind of chipping away at that drought the last 24 hours. And it looks like as we head towards this afternoon, we'll continue to chip away at that drought even more, with more widespread heavier rainfall potential across this area, with some embedded thunderstorms with that frontal boundary and a couple of these low pressure systems moving through as we head through the rest of today and into your Wednesday morning. Looking at the precipitable water values here using the European forecast model, you still have 1 to 2 standard deviations above climatology for this area here into the Northeast, so we could have some very heavy heavy rainfall across these areas here with kind of some above normal precipitation for this time of year expected. So we'll continue to watch that. So looking here at the HRRR, forecast guidance here, looking at what the radar does look to, could look like later on today here as we head towards late this morning into early this afternoon. We got that rain shield with steady, moderate to heavy rainfall at times across portions there of Long Island, getting up through portions of Connecticut, Rhode Island, with those areas that picked up over 7 inches of rain, even some heavier rain back into New Jersey, eastern Pennsylvania, down toward the Baltimore area, Washington, D.C. But as we head toward the afternoon, much of these same areas, at least some light to perhaps pockets of moderate rainfall, will continue across Long Island, getting across New York City proper, up toward Hartford, Connecticut, and potentially up toward the Boston area at times as well later on this afternoon. We'll start to chip away at the coverage of this, becoming more isolated as we head into the evening and overnight hours, but still some lingering showers at times, some spotty showers across central and southern New York State, northern New Jersey, and eastern portions there of Pennsylvania as we head towards that midnight time frame and then going into your Wednesday morning. So we'll continue to watch that. So an additional, 1 to 3 inches of rainfall, if not more, across Long Island, getting into northern New Jersey, eastern portions of Pennsylvania, and much of the I-95 corridor from New York City to Boston could see another 1 to 3 inches at times across these areas over the next 24 hours or so. So definitely something to watch with the ongoing saturated soils out there. And again, a lot of runoff from this drought too. You got to remember the bone dry ground that we've had with a severe and extreme drought across these areas. That water, if it comes down heavy enough from the rainfall rates, could be heavy enough for this to run off and not really soak in. So we'll continue to watch that as well. And considering that, the Weather Prediction Center does remain in agreement for a slight risk of excessive rainfall with scattered instances of flash flooding across that I-95 corridor from Boston to New York City, much of Rhode Island, Connecticut, down through southern New York State, New Jersey, eastern portions of Pennsylvania, getting down toward Delaware, eastern Maryland, and then another pocket here in the eastern portions of the Ohio Valley, down the spine of the Appalachians toward Charleston, West Virginia, eastern Kentucky, and western Virginia as we head into later today as well. Tomorrow, the flooding risk starts to go down, but still a marginal risk from the deep south, including coastal Texas, all the way up here to New Jersey and portions of southern New York State and Long Island as we head into your Wednesday and Wednesday night time frame. So that will be something we'll continue to monitor. But beyond that, as we head towards later on Thursday, we're going to watch another feature here with a positively tilted trough starting to dig in across the Pacific Northwest and portions of Alberta and Saskatchewan, Canada here as we head toward late this week on your Thursday. That will propagate its way across portions of the northern plains and upper Midwest as we head towards Saturday, toward the early portion of the weekend. And again, it's going to be a positively tilted trough. So again, usually with positively tilted troughs, we don't see a lot of severe weather or anything like that. So I'm not expecting too much, and if there is any severe weather, it'll probably be more of a marginal risk of severe weather, if anything else. We'll continue to monitor what the Storm Prediction Center does put out for their weather forecast, and then as we even have, as we even move towards the early portion of next week on September 12th on your Monday to start the new work week, we got kind of like an upper level low starting to develop across portions of the Great Lakes, which could lead to maybe a heavier rain setup across portions there of the western Great Lakes as we head into early next week. So we'll continue to watch that as well. And looking at this early next week here with that upper level low potentially developing on kind of the base of this trough as it kind of propagates across the upper Midwest and Great Lakes through the weekend into early next week, we do have kind of what we call a deformation band of heavy rainfall, maybe some cooler rains developing across Wisconsin, Michigan, portions there at Lake Superior, all the way down into eastern Iowa, northwestern Illinois on the European forecast model. And looking at the rainfall amounts here, we could be talking about maybe 1 inch to 2 inches of rainfall, so some decent rains across portions of Wisconsin, perhaps as far south here as the middle Mississippi Valley and the Great Lakes. But looking here at the GFS, pretty similar, even heavier amounts, a little more bullish here across northern Illinois, southern Wisconsin, and central Iowa with more widespread 2 to 4 inch amounts here, so definitely a little bit more bullish on the rainfall totals here using the GFS forecast model. Also looking at this could be kind of a taste of fall early next week as well if this does come to fruition, because we could have upper 50 high temperatures with all the cloud cover out there, maybe some of those cooler rains, kind of a day to stay inside potentially early next week. We'll continue to track it though. We could have one of those, like I said, deformation rain bands set up where we could have kind of a soaking rain across these areas early next week. And the GFS model, largely in agreement, a little cooler with the temperatures across Iowa and northern Missouri, maybe some areas kind of struggling to reach the middle 50s on your Monday afternoon next week. So we'll continue to monitor this. Things can still change, but again, it looks like a trough, a positively tilted trough, will move across the northern plains, the upper Midwest, and Great Lakes, bringing some rainfall at times and some thunderstorms and maybe a marginal risk of severe weather. But again, a severe weather outbreak remains very unlikely at this time. Looking at the tropics with your tropical weather update, we got Hurricane K just to the west of the Mexico coast here, moving to the northwest here very quickly towards the Baja of California here within the next couple of days. And you can see that here in the satellite imagery, starting to gain strength here. We can see some of these arms coming off of this developing hurricane here, and that does mean it has lots of room to breathe, and that means this will start to develop potentially an eye wall within the next couple of days. So that will be something to watch. And looking at the warm waters across the Eastern Pacific Basin, we got these orange shaded colors, the yellow shaded colors. That's 20 to 25 degrees Celsius, which equates to 75 to even 80 degrees Fahrenheit type of water temperatures at the surface. So definitely supportive of a hurricane and potentially a borderline major hurricane as we head toward the middle and late portion of this week. So here's the official forecast here from the National Hurricane Center. We do actually have tropical storm watches across the west and east coast here, the Baja of California, and the far southern island peninsula here of the Baja of California actually under a tropical storm warning right now. So this is where we could expect some tropical storm force winds, some tropical rainfall, and yes, potentially even some storm surge at times as well as the system passes off to the west. It looks to become a borderline, major hurricane for a time before it kind of moves down into that category 2 and then eventually category 1 type of phase, and then quickly starts to weaken as it approaches portions of Southern California and northwestern Baja of California as well, with the cooler water and more sheer environment up there as we head towards this weekend. So looking at the intensity for Hurricane K, you got kind of a category 2 and then a category 1 type system, maybe getting up to near category 3 strength here at its peak intensity here within the next 48 to 60 hours or so, and then kind of slowly dropping back to tropical storm and then tropical depression status through the next 120 hours or so. And looking at this using the ICON model, I think this captures it very well at 984 millibar low pressure center later on this afternoon. As it gets just to the west of the Baja of California on your Thursday afternoon, looks to become a 976 millibar low with an appreciable hurricane risk there as well, if not a very strong tropical storm. And then it looks to become a weaker tropical storm as it crosses over some land and gets very close to some of these cooler waters as we head towards that Friday afternoon, Friday night time frame and into this weekend across portions there, getting closer to Southern California in the United States. Looking also at the heavy rainfall aspects of this, a lot of heavy rainfall across the Baja of California, widespread 6 to 12 inches of rain are not unheard of across this area with this system. Definitely a potential with this heavy rainfall setup with this system's right front quadrant here moving right over the Baja of California. Definitely could be seeing some heavier thunderstorms, some gustier winds with the tropical storm force winds, and even some storm surge adding to the flooding issues there as well. So definitely watching you guys here up in Cabo San Lucas. Again, do stay safe if you guys are in this area all the way through this weekend. More or less, we're talking about active weather across portions of the Atlantic as well. We got Hurricane Danielle still spinning across the very far northern Atlantic right now by itself. We got Tropical Storm Earl set to become a major hurricane across portions just to the east of the Bermuda. And then we got another system here to the east that has a 60% chance, a very likely chance here again of development of another tropical depression, if not a tropical storm within the next 5 to 10 days, just coming off the western coast here of Africa into the southern Atlantic Ocean. So first off, looking at Danielle here, Hurricane Danielle, it will start to weaken very quickly as we head toward the middle of this week, and then kind of do what we call a Fujiwara effect, and kind of spin back to the west and then spin back east here, kind of with another upper level low coming off of the northeastern United States and Quebec, Canada here. As it moves to the east, it'll kind of dance around another low pressure system and then move east towards the Europe continent there. So we'll continue to watch that. You got Earl down here. Earl is set to become a hurricane later on today and tonight, and then kind of a major hurricane and really stay as a hurricane to all the way through the Saturday and Sunday time frame as well, and probably even into early next week at hurricane status. So this is going to be a hurricane for quite some time. We got a lot of warm waters across the central and western Atlantic to take advantage of here with this condition for this tropical storm to become hurricane and even major hurricane Earl. Looking at Earl right now, we have a tropical storm, but this is rapidly going to become a category 1, 2, 3, maybe even a category 4 system, potentially on the high end as we head towards this weekend into early next week, and then slowly kind of drop off here towards that category, towards lower end hurricane to even, mid-grade tropical storm status, through the next several days. So we'll continue to watch that. And then we're watching another system coming off the Africa coast here with a 60% chance, a likely chance of another tropical depression or tropical storm developing as we head through the next 5 to 10 days. So that will be something we'll keep an eye on as well, as that looks to move west and then eventually west-northwestward across the southern Atlantic Ocean as well. So looking at the satellite imagery of all three, we got Hurricane Danielle to the north here where I'm circling now. That'll be kind of doing a Fujiwara effect here with kind of another low pressure system coming off from eastern Canada and portions of the northeast United States. We got tropical storm Earl, which will become a major hurricane Earl eventually here down to the north of the greater Antilles, and then that other disturbed weather area here with potentially another tropical depression, if not tropical storm, coming off the coast there of Africa that will move to the west-northwest as well. So looking at this with the icon model, we got Danielle, we got Earl, and we got that unnamed system so far as we head towards this afternoon. These will kind of continue to push off here in their own directions as we head towards that Thursday time frame. We got a hurricane Earl really starting to spin up toward Bermuda there, just to the southeast of Bermuda here as we head towards Thursday afternoon. Probably a tropical depression developing here in the southern Atlantic that we'll have to watch, see how strong this gets as we head toward late this week. Again, that will kind of be still well to the east of the Lesser Antilles here. And again, we got Hurricane Danielle, formidable system that will kind of drop back towards a tropical storm status late this week into this weekend. And again, we got another low pressure system kind of dancing around this area. So when we have two low pressure systems meeting here, we kind of have a dance around, those low pressures kind of dance around each other, and that's what we call a Fujiwara effect, and that's what will occur in the northern Atlantic here as we head towards this weekend. We got major Hurricane Earl by then here by Friday afternoon at 951 millibar low, and then kind of the icon model really doesn't get too excited about the system right now off of Africa, so that's a good thing, but it does look like it remains a weak system, at least for now, so we'll continue to watch that. Looking at the European forecast model, again, does show kind of that weak system that has a 60% chance of development, but still has Earl and still has Danielle, so we'll continue to watch those, and the GFS still the same here, placement with all these systems. So there's a lot of agreement within the operational weather models, again, so that leads to higher confidence of where these systems will track right now. We'll continue to watch these kind of open waves coming off Africa in the future toward the middle of September to keep you updated on all of these systems here as they get closer towards the U.S. But looking again at the water temperatures here, all the oranges, all the reds showing up, we have well above normal water sea surface temperatures here, 25, 30 degrees Celsius, that's 80 to 85 degrees Fahrenheit here, water temperatures. Again, this is the fuel for these tropical storms, these hurricanes, and even these major hurricanes across these areas, and that will be something we'll continue to watch here on Weather on the Go, all your weather coverage, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I definitely appreciate it. Remember to like it down below if you guys like this video, kind of weather breakdown. Leave any comments, questions, concerns below. I'll get to those later on today. And guys, we're getting so close to 1,000 subscribers thanks to you. Thank you all to all the new subscribers out there, all the returning viewers as well. You guys are so awesome. Definitely appreciate you all. And again, have a great Tuesday out there, and I'll see you all in the next video.